So how about a few ideas on how to make a small room comfortable? When I designed this room, this is the guest room in the house, I wanted to make sure that it was really comfortable. It's small, that makes it intimate. And when I was thinking about it, I was thinking all along, if I were staying in this room, how would I want to feel? So that really was the, I guess, driving force behind the ideas that I came up with for this particular space. And it's really pretty simple. When you think about the size of this room, it's smaller than you might think. It's only 15 feet by 17 feet. And in this room, I have two beds. You can see there's a pair of them here. These beds are a matched pair. They're Thomas O'Brien beds by Hickory Chair. And these beds are 6 feet by 8 feet. So two people can sleep in them comfortably. If you notice the headboard of the bed, you can see it's meant to be very casual and comfortable. It's a linen. It's done in a plaid, and then I used the nail heads to surround it to make it feel comfortable and homey. Now, let's go back to the scale of the room again. This room is 10 feet tall, but if you notice that there's no crown molding here, the style of the house is Greek Revival, so the details in this room reflect that. So there's no crown molding, and then if you look at the door surrounds, they're sort of supersized. They're a little larger, as well as the surrounds around the closet door and the windows. Now the closet is rather small, but it's a great place to store linens. It's a place for my guests to hang their clothes, the perfect place for extra blankets in case there's a cold night, and any other accessories my guests might need. Now, the other thing that's important is the bathroom suite. I divided it into 3 parts because if you think about it, if I have multiple guests staying in this room, there are 3 different aspects of the bathroom they can use. On the south side is a bathroom with a toilet and a lavatory. Here in the center is an aspect of the bathroom that just has a lavatory. And over on the north side is a place for a shower and a tub. So as you can see, there are multiple uses in this very small space. I used subway tile only up to about 4.5 feet, and I used restoration tile, an old-fashioned tile, on the floor. Now, to help make the room feel fun, fresh, and to mix the old and new, which is something I really like to do, I painted the walls a pale lavender, and I echoed the color off of 2 large paintings that a friend of mine painted for me that hang over the head of each of the beds. I also carried this lavender theme into the hook rugs that you see on the floor, and underneath those hook rugs is a sisal rug that just about fits the room. It fits within the room by 10 inches all the way around the perimeter of the room. Now let's talk about some of the furnishings that are also in the spirit of mixing and matching the old and new. As a nightstand, I use this enormous chest, which is actually made of stainless steel. Brand new, has a great look to it. But in contrast, here you can see this old Kentucky work table from about 1810. But here next to it is a simple swivel chair that's been slip covered in lavender and brown, which are the principal colors in this room. You see, if you want to make a room feel really harmonious, stick to one single color palette with a couple of secondary and maybe one tertiary color. It makes everything feel so much more comfortable. And the color lavender to me is very, very restful. So let's talk about some of the special things that I try to do when I have guests. I love to have candles that are lavender scented in the room. Lavender itself in a bowl over here, those are the flower heads of lavender that are saturated in lavender oil. So it makes the room smell like lavender. And lavender, of course, is one of those herbs that helps you go off to sleep. Speaking of sleep, I like to have plenty of reading material in the room in the way of periodicals and books, and I also have a water glass and pitcher by the bed sitting on the nightstand. Another juxtaposition of the old and new would be over in this corner where I have this Southern-made nightstand with this wonderful little stool, which is contemporary, which is a great place to store things. In a small room, anytime you can have places to store items, well, it's just that much more handy. Now let's talk about the lighting for just a moment. You can see here on this work table, I have a contemporary lamp here. I have lighting on either side of the bed for reading, and I have one central lamp sitting on the nightstand here in the center of the room in front of this window. You see, I think natural light is so important. So the windows here are very large, and I just used simple shears in the windows and did a valance above. And if you'll notice, to carry on some of the same themes in the room, the valance is done with a brown linen, and it's corded in chocolate brown, which echoes the headboards of the beds where we had the plaid linen that I mentioned earlier. If you're enjoying these ideas on style, tell a friend about them, and make sure you subscribe to ehowhome.